Hey Kingdom kids, come on, it's time to go on another adventure.
CC, it's story time. CC, it's story time. CC always telling the stories, pink hair and socks, so she's never boring. Whiteboard with the orange tie, you need a recap, Derek is your guy. Oh, with a flow so cold, everybody get ready for adventure mode. Heather with the crew that's so disruptive. Hey, what's that? Friendly interruption. Kingdom kids, yeah, Kingdom kids. Kingdom kids, yeah, Kingdom kids.
Hey Kingdom kids, and welcome back for another adventure. In today's lesson, we're going to answer another great big question. Our great big question is pretty easy this time, but our story today is so cool. Our great big question for today is who gives us dreams? Pretty easy, right? Well, before we answer that, we need a recap. Take it away, Derek.
King Nebuchadnezzar made a giant image of gold and told the people of Babylon that whenever they heard any music being played, they had to bow down and worship the statue. But three men named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew that worshiping any other god except Jesus was a sin. So they refused. Some officials saw that they were not bowing down, and they told King Nebuchadnezzar. So the king sent for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and asked them if it was true. They told him, "If we are thrown into a blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from your hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know that we will never serve your gods." He ordered the furnace to be hotter and threw them into the blazing furnace. Suddenly, the king saw 4 men in the furnace instead of 3 and called to them. They came out of the fire and it had not harmed their bodies. Then the king said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego." They defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any other god except for their own God. No other god can save in this way. Wow. Anyways, back to you, Cece.
A fiery furnace? You know, that almost reminds me of this one time where my oven exploded all over my...
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you this friendly interruption. Please enjoy these facts from Tammy.
Howdy, y'all. I'm back, and I've got 2 facts for you today. The first one is, did you know that cats can't taste anything sweet? Now, I do not want to live that life. And the second one is that your nose gets warmer when you lie. Well, pinch my cheek and call me a cactus. I did not know those facts.
I did not know those facts. Did you? Anyway, back to Cece.
Thanks for those facts, Tammy. Well, now that that's out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for...
Adventure Mode!
One night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He could not sleep, so he summoned the magicians, enchanters, and sorcerers to tell him what he had dreamed. When they came in, he said to them, "I have had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means." Then the astrologers answered the king, "Tell your servants the dream, and we will interpret it." The king replied to the astrologers, "If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will kill you. But if you tell me the dream and explain it, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. So tell me the dream and interpret it for me." The astrologers answered the king, "There is no one on earth who can do what the king asks." "What the king asks is too difficult. No one can reveal it to the king except the gods." This made the king so angry that he ordered the execution of all the wise men of Babylon. So the decree was issued to put the wise men to death, and men were sent to look for Daniel and his friends to put them to death. When a guard had gone out to put to death the wise men, Daniel spoke to him with wisdom. He asked the king's officer why the king issued such a harsh decree. Arioch then explained the matter to Daniel. At this, Daniel went to the king and asked for time so that he might interpret the dream for him and return to his house. During the night, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised the God of heaven and said, "Praise be to the name of God forever and ever." Then Daniel went to the king and said, "No wise man or magician can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in days to come." There was a large statue. The head was made of pure gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partially of iron and partially of baked clay. While you were watching, a rock was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay and smashed them. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were all broken. But the rock that struck the statue became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth. The God of heaven has given you dominion and power. You are the head of gold. After you, another kingdom will come that is smaller than yours. Next, a third kingdom, one of bronze, will rule over the whole earth. Finally, there will be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron. And as iron breaks things to pieces, so it will crush and break all the others. In the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, but it will last forever. This is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of the mountain, but not by human hands. A rock that broke the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold to pieces, made from heavenly hands. The great God has shown the king what will take place in the future. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell to his knees and said, "Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries, for you were able to reveal this mystery." Then the king placed Daniel in a high position and gave him gifts. He made him ruler over all the wise men. And at Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego administrators, while Daniel himself remained at the royal court. And that's what we learned on
Adventure Mode!
You know, that Nebuchadnezzar guy was kind of mean. He asked his magicians and sorcerers to figure out what his dream was when he didn't even tell them. How in the world are you supposed to do that? Well, Daniel did it. He prayed and asked God to reveal the dream to him. And not only did Daniel learn about Nebuchadnezzar's dream, he was also able to interpret the dream. The other magicians couldn't figure it out because they didn't ask God for help. If God is the giver of dreams, then why would you not ask him to help? Hey, that's the answer to our great big question. Who gives us dreams? God does. Well, that's all the time we have for today, Kingdom Kids. I'll see you next time. Bye!
I like this video. Did you? Well, like and subscribe.